What's up, everybody? This is Gina Ifoe, the one and only African superstar. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Happy weekend to my family. First, giving big shout outs to the customers at AfricanSuperstar.com. Guys, the African Superstar X Ghana collection is on the website. Over 200 new styles for men and women. Go take a look at my very hard crafted uh, work that I've put in for you guys to be able to display African pride in very fashionable and distinct ways. Also, big shout outs to our members only. Members only were also gifted a special discount that is available in the community tab for our members only viewers. So please check the community tab for that special discount. I want to talk about this because I think that if our people understood this principle, they would be able to take a lot more initiative in their life. And the topic is the white man is not going to solve your problems. You guys know the protocol. Please make sure you like this video. If you are here, leave me a message in the chat room. I'm going to go ahead and talk about it. This is kind of a piggyback off of the live discussion I had last night about the fact that if we're choosing to live under certain pretenses, if we're choosing to immerse ourselves in, for instance, Western societies where racism is inherent, then we should just deal with it. You know, we should just be quiet because we're not willing to put up the resistance. We're not willing to exercise other options. A piggyback off of that is you got to understand and you got to know that the white man is not prepared in any way, shape, or form to fix your problems. You can use this literally. You can use this figuratively. So guess what? Let me tell you something. President Biden in America is not about to solve your problems. The French president, Macron, he's not about to solve problems in France for Black people. What's the one in the UK? Boris Johnson in the UK. Huh? I'm going to go a bit further. Jesus Christ. Bill Gates. Okay? None of these people have solutions for you at all. Big shout outs to my members only. Mind, Body, and Soul TV is the first one in the chat room today. I see you there, sweetheart. Thank you. Big shout outs to the family. I think that if we understood, because we're groomed to outsource the fate of our future as people, okay? We don't see ourselves as the driving factor or mechanism that is going to determine our fate. We leave it up to God. We leave it up to the government. We leave it up to science and medicine and these world leaders and Nobel Peace Prize and researchers. And the truth is that nobody is going to care about you more than you care about you. That's why when you don't care about yourself, you find yourself in the most desolate situations, okay? Because you will die waiting for other people to step up and invest in you and show some type of care or concern. Our people need to understand that they don't have the solutions for us. And guess what? Even if they did have solutions that might be great for us, they're not going to give it. Do you think they want to give you the tools to become self-sufficient? Do you think they want to give you the knowledge, of past successes and accomplishments of your ancestors and, remarkable historical events? Do you think that, listen, they don't have the solutions. They don't have the solutions. That is why there is a concerted effort to conceal, omit, just totally erase our history first and foremost. We get a bit of world history in America of all these other nations, except the continent. Does that not strike you as strange? We learn all about Europe. you know, and we learn about Germany, and we learn about Italy, you know, the Roman Empire. We learn about the Greeks. You know, they don't really teach us Asian history as well, except their involvements in the world wars. And then nothing, nothing about the continent, apart from the slave trade. Those of you that have begun to travel to the continent or begin to do, you know, your own research, you're coming to find out that there's so much history about what has been going on in the continent for centuries that we have never even been exposed to. I'm bringing this message because I think people need to take more front and center interest in their own well-being. It's not anybody else's responsibility. Okay. Some of you guys, you trust the government too much. You trust religious leaders too much. You trust blah, blah, blah. All I can tell you is that you should be front and center in your own aspirations. Okay. If a spiritual being or God or someone comes along and provides you great opportunities, that's cool, because guess what? You're already in motion. Okay. So you might actually be in position to take advantage of great opportunities because you're what? Already in motion. I'll give you guys an example. Big shout out to the family. Please make sure you like the video. Say good morning. I know it's quite early for my US viewers, but I'm getting ready to get out and about, and I just wanted to make sure that I prepared this video for you. Please make sure you like it, share it, subscribe to the channel. Head over to theafricansuperstar.com. The contact information is scrolling across the screen. If you would like to bless this platform, there are many ways to donate: super chats, Cash App, and PayPal. Big shout outs to the family. What's up? I'll give you an example. A few months ago, I was just casually talking to a good friend of mine. Her name is Dr. Carnita Groves. Big shout outs to Dr. Carnita. I know she watches our platform sometimes. She and I have been good friends now for, you know, several years. I believe we met in 2019, if I'm correct. And you know, she's amazing. I love her. She's so positive. She's so inspiring. She's someone who moved to Ghana. You know, it's going on 7 years now, and she just picked up and moved and never looked back. And you know, she's amazing. So we were talking, and she told me that there was an upcoming event. Some of you guys have seen actually my segment from that event on this channel. I spoke at the Investment Expo. And so basically she said, hey, you know, I put your name, you know, among the panel organizing this event, you know, to come and speak, you know, because she loves me, you know, she believes in me. She sees talent, she sees potential. So she said, yeah, you know, I suggested you to come and join us on that panel. When I tell you guys, I had a couple days to prepare the message that I, you know, shared with the audience that day. That's what I'm talking about being prepared. Okay. There are some times when you are, you know, presented with things, but you can't take advantage of them because you're not ready. You know, there are things that go on in Ghana, for instance, that if you weren't in Ghana, you couldn't take advantage of. You know, that's why I'm always promoting you guys to be in forward motion. We've got to accept, and I think it's a hard pill to swallow for some people. We've got to accept that these places, for instance, that we call our homelands, okay, America, UK, Europe, wherever, Australia, Canada, wherever you know, have been brought up, they are not our home, first and foremost. Okay, which means that the lawmakers and the leaders and all that stuff, they don't even have us on their radar in consideration. We even see people that look like us get elevated to those positions. And when we see the kind of things they talk about and we see the kind of things that they do, we question, we understand. It's evident that they're not thinking with the best interest of our people. Some people will say, for instance, Barack Obama, you know, he was the first Black president in the United States. People thought when he got to power that he would address certain things that were impacting the Black community. And he didn't. Why? Okay. When the foundation of a building is compromised, guys, all right, and this is an analogy. When the foundation of a building is compromised, everything that comes from that structure will be compromised. The foundation, the ideology, the mentality, that is a part of, for instance, these Western nations, they're not inclusive of us because actually their successes come from the fact that they've capitalized off of our people. And so for them to even level that playing field would completely destabilize their whole world, because their whole world is based on the fact that they get to be on top and we get to be on the bottom. They are not going to solve your problems. You better be the one innovating to solve your problems. You better be the one who cares the most. Big shout outs. I think Mind, Body, and Soul TV is the only one in our chat room today. Big shout outs to her. She's still doing the work. What a wonderful moderator. Big shout outs to you, sweetheart. I appreciate you. So, I cut y'all some slack. I know it's early in America. But it's a beautiful day. I'm getting ready to get out and get my day started. I wanted to, deliver this message because I think some people are waiting for things that are not going to happen. I moved in 2017. By that time, Trump had already came to the presidency. People were asking me all 2016, what I thought about Trump, what I thought about the presidency, what's going to happen to America. To me, it was beyond me. It was like behind me because I wasn't really worried about it because I knew that I wasn't going to be affected by the things that he did because I was going to be there. I was going to be living there. I didn't wait for any of those things once I made the decision to do, to make the movements that was necessary for Gina. And I think if some of you guys start deciding, big shout outs, good afternoon, Mr. Sai. I think it's afternoon in your part of town over the seas. we got the Americans, we got the British folks here. Big shout outs to you guys. Yeah, I think it should be around 12 o'clock where Mr. Sai is. Big shout outs to him in the UK. The more you become integral in your own personal plans, the more successful you're going to be. You should get to the point where really you don't even worry about these forces. You don't worry about the world leadership. You don't worry about analysts. You don't worry about the newspapers. You don't worry about all the conflicting information. You just focus on what you have to do and you get that accomplished. I would say all the people that I know currently that have ventured onto the continent, that's kind of where they are mentally. It's like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to utilize what resources I have to exercise this, and that's that. And they don't really care about what else is happening. They don't really care. I find that some people that are back in America, for instance, they're more concerned about my movements than I'd be concerned about my movements. Yeah, Gina, I saw something. I read an article about blah, blah, blah. How are you doing? Are you okay? I'm thinking like, I'm great. Because whatever goes on around me, I just try to stay focused on whatever. And I learned this fact a long time ago, guys. They don't care. They don't care about you or I. They're not about to solve our problems. If they're not going to solve our problems, it's a great position for you to stand up and solve your own problems. That's what's wrong with many members of the diaspora, is they've been moaning and groaning about the same problems for decades now. In America, the Black people, I mean, as far as I know, historically, they've always been complaining about the situations and conditions. The things that people in 2021 are complaining about are the same things that Malcolm X and Dr. Martin Luther King were complaining about in the 60s. are the same things that their ancestors through Jim Crow were complaining about, are the same things that the ancestors are actually, during the slave trade were complaining about. You can be the link in your family to offset the complaints. I talk about this sometimes. Black people in the West, one of their biggest crutches, one of the things I'm so sick of hearing it, is I don't know where I come from. I don't know my history. It's a sorry excuse. Now you're 30, 40, 50, 60 years and you're still talking about you don't know? You haven't made any efforts to find out. You haven't done your own research. You haven't done your own travels. You haven't started creating the answers to your own problems. It's unacceptable. You're still moaning about, oh yeah, the white man won't let me be great. You know what I'm saying? He keeps hindering me every turn I take. The racism, the discrimination. You're still talking about that? What initiative are you taking? I mean, excuse my language. Are you someone's bitch? Female dog. Are you somebody's peon? Are you beneath someone? Are you someone's servant or slave? Are you a second-class citizen? If you are, then that's the path that you're going to take, and that's the path that you're going to lead. But you should just come to accept it. What's up, Dr. Sherry? I see you there. Nice of you to join me. And I think it's morning where you are. Big shout outs to the family. I know it's a little early in the US, but y'all should be used to me by now. Come on. So anyway, this was my thought today. This was my thought today. I saw a comment on Facebook, and these people are like, well, why do they do this and why do they do that? And I'm thinking, like, I gotta give it to the white people. I'll give them this little corner moment of my show. They've been consistent. They've been consistent over the years and letting us know what it is. We are the ones that have not responded adequately to that. Because normal people that are disrespected or marginalized would think, I'm not putting up with this. And they would begin to institute their own response or rebellion. I was watching a video that I'm going to post to the channel about slavery in Jamaica. And it's really interesting because, for instance, in the UK, a lot of Jamaican people, they really, really, really gravitate towards whites. And I think it's insane. I'm like, these people have come, they've, ravaged your country. In the UK, there is an era called the Windrush, and I talk about it sometimes because I did not know about the Windrush until I moved to the UK. It's something that we never, ever, ever learn about in America. Okay. From grade school to high school to college to, advanced level degree. I never heard of it, never seen it mentioned. But essentially, after the World War, the UK had been heavily damaged by bombs and stuff from the Germans and all that stuff. They went to the Caribbean and they solicited these Caribbeans to come and work in England and help them rebuild the country. And they were so eager to just get all the help, all the hands that they could. They were letting people travel without documents. They were letting people bring their kids without passports. They were just saying, hey, you guys can travel on your parents' documents or your grandparents' documents or whatever. And now, essentially these Caribbean people have rebuilt the UK. Now, second generation. So the people that actually moved, now their descendants, they're trying to deport those people back to Jamaica. You see, and we don't see what it is, which is we're only good as long as we're performing, as long as we're winning, as long as we are functioning in the capacity that they want us to. That's when we're useful to them. The minute we want some, equal rights, or we want to capitalize off our own skills, or we want to raise our concerns and, whatever, that's when it becomes a problem. You see what I'm saying? And we keep playing this game of cat and mouse. Big shout out to the family. I see y'all chit-chatting in here. Hold on, let me see what's up. Dr. Sherry says, we are naive as Mary had a little lamb. My Body and Soul TV says, why should the white man let us be great? They profit from us being, and that is, absolutely factual. Some of you guys, I wouldn't say those immediately viewing me, but some people really believe. They really trust. We see that modern day with like the vaccine, for instance. You have people that are like, yeah, they wouldn't actually use this to hurt people. If they wanted to hurt people, they would do other things. There's history that supports such things. We want to ignore it. Because why? We believe. We want to believe. We want to believe in the American government. We want to believe in the UK. We want to believe in humanity. We want to believe in the golden rule, when what is right in front of our face is telling us the truth. The truth is, honestly, we can't even peacefully coexist with these people. We have never lived peacefully with these people, ever. Matter of fact, the most successful nations are homogeneous nations. Okay? Those nations live among their own people. There's a reason, for instance, members of the diaspora love Africa is because they get to what? Live among their people. They don't have to apologize or explain their blackness when they're living in the Caribbean or when they're living on the continent. We've been made to think this is a crime in the diaspora, living among our own people, having our own communities, promoting Black love, when this is all the law of nature. Big shout out to My Body Soul TV. She had me going on that one. Dr. Sherry says, the Queen of England is the head of Jamaica. The Prime Minister is a figurehead. Absolutely. We see this in actually a lot of African nations. You have some of the Francophone nations where they report directly to France. France will be in control of their finances and, these kind of things. A lot of these African leaders have been educated in the UK, educated in America. They're put there as a place marker. Just what Dr. Sherry said. Some of you guys get so wound up about African leaders. They have been put in position. But make no mistake, and big shout outs to the Woke Africa show. I watched her recent live stream. She touched on this. Big shout outs to the fact that there has always been a resistance. Don't get it twisted. They would like you to think that your people don't fight back. And they would like you to think that our people just gave in and stuff. Nah. Any of you guys that are woke can even see what has happened, for instance, to, several Black leaders within the last year that, for instance, resisted the vaccine, resisted the COVID international measures. They all mysteriously ended up dead. Even a lot of Pan-African leaders from back in the 60s somehow were overthrown by coups, assassinated, blah, blah, blah. Such is the case in Ghana with Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. He was away on travels when the coup came and took over Ghana because he was too progressive. Don't ever get it twisted. There's always the resistance. The Nat Turners and the Harriet Tubmans and the Marcus Garveys. Don't ever get it twisted. There's always been a remnant of our people that's like, nah, we can do it on our own. Let's do it on our own. Let's go to our homeland. Let's do this. Let's do that. But you better believe these charlatans are real. And they need these figureheads to be in position so they can keep on pillaging. And that's also how you know that they don't have no solutions for you, because they're about self. Hello? The same thing you and I and every person should be about, which is yourself and your family and the preservation of your culture and lineage. That is what they're about. That's why I say I got to give it to the whites. They've been consistent. We just don't want to take it. We just don't want to accept it for what it is. We just want to be included in their plans and part of their party. We just want to be acknowledged by them. When the Black Lives Matter protests were going on with George Floyd, so many people was happy that the whites was coming out to the protest. See, they care about our cause, guys. They're not all so bad. Famous words of the Combs. They're not all so bad. We can't judge a book by its cover. Big shout outs to you guys. Woo! A couple of y'all got me going already. Mr. Sai says they only gave jobs that they weren't prepared to do. And that's still true today. You know, this is something that professional Black people talk about all the time. I tried to get the promotion. You know, I tried to apply for the position. I tried to get the pay raise. They said no. They chose someone else who was what? Unqualified, untrained. Why? It's a racial thing. They saw your name. They saw on your CV, oh, wow, that's a Nigerian name. It's purely not English. It's purely not American. That's a Native American name. That's a Spanish name. That's an African name, because they don't even want to acknowledge all the different tribes and ethnicity on the continent. That's an African name. You know, it's complicated. I can't read it. They pick and choose. They cherry pick who's going to go up and who's not going to go up. Facts, Mr. Sai. Thank you for that. He says, this is in regards to my comments about the Windrush. He says, low-paid jobs. When the first set of Windrush generation came over, they were refused accommodation. They had to sleep in the air raid shelter. So imagine that. Imagine that. England was in a mess. Okay? Country destroyed, war torn. They went over to the Caribbean and begged these people to come. Hey, come over, get, you know, work for us. You'll make some good money. We'll take your families, blah, blah, blah. You know how they do. They make everything look appetizing, and they lie. Then those people travel in, and they're not even willing to give them accommodation when these people are rebuilding their country. Unbelievable. But doesn't surprise me. I would encourage those of you that don't know anything about the Windrush, go look at, you can even look it up here on YouTube. There's lots of interesting documentaries, and it will be shocking to you, because it was shocking to me. I always try to understand the relationship between the Caribbean and England, because there's a lot of Caribbean influences here. You know, a lot of great dance hall musicians and stuff. They would be living in London, and I just didn't understand the connection. And then when I got here and I learned about the Windrush, I'm like, oh, okay. You know, because we always create and innovate. So we're here in a new environment, and bam, what do? We make some hot music styles and all that stuff. Brixton is the historically, you know, Black community in London, where a lot of the Caribbeans and the African people were, and they had their businesses and their restaurants. Now it's been gentrified, because that's also what they do. They put us in a desirable part of town. We make it the hot spot, and then they come and gentrify it. Oh my goodness. What's up, family? Mata Lumain, I see you there, brother. I see you. I see you. Please make sure that you like the stream, guys. I'm wrapping up. I just wanted to come and have this conversation. Mind, Body, and Soul and TV is talking about the Black Lives Matter protests in the name of George Floyd. You see, in all these things, you know, big shout outs to the African Superstar family. You guys all have contributed wonderful points to the conversation this morning. All of these things, guys, I'm just going to say this in closing, are indicators about why we cannot peacefully coexist with them. You know, there is no harmonic level. The only way that we can remotely get along with them is to bring ourselves down. We have to reduce ourselves to function in their society. We can't exercise our fullest potential. We can't speak our mind. They're even afraid of our natural appearance. Imagine they see a black man, they're immediately threatened when that black man is just minding his own business because of his skin, because of his stature, because of their guilt. Wherever we try to, deal with them, integrate with them, they end up hijacking the movement, just like Mind, Body, and Soul, because they got to be on top. And I know this is a difficult conversation with some people because they have invested so much, into believing that, good trumps evil and it's all gonna work out and blah, blah, blah. But I just got to tell you, if you were smart, you wouldn't trust anyone, period. Bottom line. Well, Gina, there's some black people, they treated me worse than the whites. The whites have been really, open-minded and this and that. Who was them blacks that betrayed you? Who was they trained by? Where did they grow up? What was their mentality? Because you know what? You'd be hard-pressed to be betrayed by a Marcus Garvey. Woo! You'd be hard-pressed to get played by an African superstar. What? The traitor would never be Malcolm X. You see what I'm saying? The traitor is more like Al Sharpton. What's that one's name? Oh, God. Omarosa. These swirlers and cooners that just want to kiss up because they have their own psychological issues. When people talk about, for instance, that betrayal from the black people, who trained them? That needs to be your comeback. Who trained? Who was their influences? Because the truth is, a lot of these people, these traitors, they have begun to adjust their environments. Okay, they've seen the American way, they've seen the British way, and in order for them to feel a part of the culture, they need to be as cutthroat as possible. It's called overcompensation. Okay, I really am about to wrap up, guys. People overcompensate to be seen as acceptable. They're going to take it to the next level because they need to prove that they're down. So for instance, you have some black people in the UK. They have a proper British accent. Like if you heard them on the phone, you would assume it's a white person. You wouldn't hear any ethnicity in their voice at all. Because they're overcompensating. They're the types that listen to all the music so they can spit back the details of this band and blah, blah, blah. They're the ones that, take advanced degrees in English history and Roman, literature. They got a point to prove. So who was they trained by? Them traitors. Who was they trained by? I put a post up on my Facebook the other day saying that I can trust less than 20 people, right? And it was interesting, the comments that I got, and people like, wow, you have a lot of people you can trust, and so on and so forth. I mentioned too also the family, several episodes ago that, private details of my life never find their way to social media, never find their self to being posted or smear campaigns. Why is that? Well, I don't roll with traitors. The people that are close to me are trustworthy. I don't bring in, but see, some of y'all bring in the stray dogs. Okay. You're empathetic. You have compassion. And it gets you into trouble. Not me. It's a spade is a spade is a spade is a spade to me. And when I look at that person and I see who they've been trained by, okay, if they haven't been trained by, the Pan-African radical, black loving individual, then I don't want to roll with them. I say, well, Gina, you can't, everybody's not. Well, if that's their mentality, they don't need to be with me because I'm not inclusive. And that's why I haven't been burnt. So you should know, and please do know, that he or she do not have your best interest in mind. They're not coming up with solutions. They're not trying to make your life better or easier. You had better be the one persisting on your own behalf to find the solutions that you need for a good life. I think you probably would be hard pressed for any white person or leader to tell you to go back to your homeland. Invest in your roots. Big shout outs. Thank you so much, sweetheart, for that super chat. I appreciate you. You would be hard pressed. Although many of us know that's the answer. You know, many of us know that's the answer to the problems that we are facing. We know that. Okay, no therapist, no pastor, you know, no confidant, no colleague at work. None of them are going to tell you, hey, look, the problems that you're facing are indigenous to the lands that you're living in. If you don't want to deal with them, then you need to go and address your life back home. I mean, it is what it is. No white person is going to tell you that. No white person is going to prepare you for systematic racism when you're growing up in America or the UK. No white person is going to prepare you for that. They're going to sit there and lie to you and tell you that if you work hard, you're going to move up. All you got to do is stay focused and get your education. The more education you get, the better. When you start calling for equal rights, when you start talking about discrimination, they're going to say, no, we don't want to hear that. You know, they always play the race card. These people are crazy. You know, white people are always saying, I said, oh, you know, white people, you know, black people always talking about police brutality. Well, I got pulled over the police and I didn't get you think they don't know? You think they don't recognize their privilege? It's a lie. It's a lie, guys. And I think, you know, if we're honest with each other and we just want to go ahead and accept the truth as it is, we'll be better off. They don't have the answers for you. They don't have the answers for you. Okay, they never have and they never will. You are there as a pawn in their game, and that's it. Like Mr. Sai said, to do undesirable jobs, to be the permanent underclass, to be the source where they capitalize on. You know, where they're getting more out of your talent and skill and athletic ability than even you're getting. If they were fair and they were just, they would say, you know what, let's do this 50-50. You know, because hey, it's your talent, it's your resources. Let's get rich together. But they ain't trying to do that. Big shout outs. What's up, guys? All right. I have gone on. And I just this was what was on my mind today. I want to give a special shout outs to our super chat donor and our members only. Big shout outs to Mind, Body, and Soul TV. Thank you so much for the love and support. Big shout outs to everybody else who came out. Only a few was in the chat room. I don't know. Other people, I know it's kind of early in some places. It's okay. But big shout outs to Mr. Side, Dr. Sherry, Mind, Body, and Soul TV. I see you there. Mrs. Bowma was in the building with me. Modu Lamine. Big shout outs to the family, those of you that participated. This was a really good discussion, even though we only had a few of you here. I still appreciate it. Nikki's in the building. I see you there. Thank you so much. So big shout outs to the family and take this in. You know, I told you guys last night, I'm getting ready to prepare for my 2021. You need to know that the problems that you have, all right, maybe you have some ongoing problems in 2021. And these are the kind of problems that aren't really affected by external things. Okay, so I don't care if tomorrow the weather is cold or the weather is hot or if it rains. These are going, you know, these things are the consistent things. What are you doing regarding those things? Well, I'm just going to see who gets in the office, Gina. Well, I'm just going to pray about it. I'm going to keep sowing that seed. I'm going to do some fasting. You know, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Okay, what other things are you prepared to do about the problems that you got? What else? What else? Because I don't know about you, but I'm tired of being tired. I'm tired of being tired to the point that I took initiative and made some changes. And I'm really, really happy. I don't regret for a minute the decision that I made that have led me to where I am today. I don't regret it at all. Even though I've had some extraneous costs associated, I don't care. It still was worth it. Until we meet again, family, stay black and true. If you ain't black, just stay true.